Blessings to you. My name is Gabrielle, and welcome to my channel where I talk about transformation and mindset shifts. I wanted to come on and talk about the search from within. Oftentimes, we find ourselves searching for something outside of us. We we have our routines and our to-dos and things that we want to accomplish, even things that we have written down for this year. We have maybe have done vision boards, or we have a digital planner, or we have something where we have went before the Father, we committed our works, we have it laid out, we wrote it out, and every day we are working diligently towards those goals. But sometimes it can be it can become overproductive, like we're pushing to speed up things in our time. And because we are pushing to speed up things in our time, we are not allowing ourselves to enjoy the process and the journey that comes with receiving the goodness of God in this land, receiving those things that our hearts desire, those things that God has placed in our heart. So it's easy to become frustrated, overwhelmed, anxious, because now we are trying to do it with our strength and our resources and our timing. And I feel like sometimes that can become like we're searching for something. Oh, I need to change this, I need to change that, I need to go to this place, I need to get to that place, I need a change of scenery. And there's nothing wrong with the change of scenery. In fact, um, even stepping into a more expansive environment or a place that you have not been before can also expand your mindset to produce growth. But when we are trying to do that to avoid what we're feeling, that's a difference. And I really just been reflecting on that because it really comes down to, do you trust God? Do you trust his word? Do you trust that he's going to do what he said he is going to do? Do you trust his plan and his purpose for your life? Those things that he has given you, those things that you have perceived from him. Do you trust him to take your hands off of it and allow him to take control of where he's guiding you to? Because a lot of times we do try to do it in our own strength, and we may say, oh, I've released it, I've surrendered it, I've let go of it. But somewhere in our soul, somewhere deep in our emotions, somewhere deep in our mind, we still are holding on to it because it's like a mistrust. And that can come from several different things. But when you begin to search within and you begin to cultivate that relationship with God as a father, when you commune with him, when you talk to him, you're talking to him during the day, you're talking to him before bed, you're talking to him in the morning, you're having conversations, you're listening, you'll begin to receive that grace and that favor, that thankfulness, to just be in the present moment, to enjoy where you are, because you know it's God's divine timing. And it's important to know the season, the place that you're in right now. It's important to to know where God has you right now, what he has you stewarded over in this moment, that you're not pushing to get to the next thing, that you're not rushing to get to something, but you are enjoying the journey. You are learning. You are cultivating relationships. You are stewarding over your home. You are growing in your relationship, growing spiritually. And when you take your hands off of the wheel, when you take your hands off of it, trying to control it, you'll begin to receive that peace that surpasses all understanding, because you realize that God is backing me. He is leading me. He is guiding me. I show up with intentional faith towards the things that I have given him to do. I show with compassion and the love of Christ, and I position myself to be led by him. And I want to share this verse, and it's in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 12 through 14. I know that there is nothing better for them than to be glad and to get and do good as long as they live. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. I know that whatever God does, it endures forever. Nothing can be added to it, nor anything taken from it. And God does it so that men will reverently fear him, revere and worship him, knowing that he and I wanted to share that because um I had a moment where, usually I am always learning something, always working on something, doing something like, even in rest, I'm reading or figuring out a new plan or something. I'm just working towards something, writing down ideas, like doing lists, whatever. And I've had a moment where I just said, I'm going to disconnect for the day. I'm going to be present, really just be present, not feeling like I have to do something. I got to get this done. Oh, let me make sure at this time I'm doing this. And there's nothing wrong with that because it is important to be disciplined, but it's also important to enjoy what you've worked for and enjoy the things that God has given you to steward over. Enjoy spending time bonding with your kids where you're not strolling on social media, or you're not on a phone call while you're in the midst of your kids, or you're not trying to clean up and watch a movie, but you're actually very present. You're sitting with them, you're watching a movie, you're coloring with them, you're throwing the basketball to them. You're out with them while they ride their bike, and you're enjoying, the company of your children. You're enjoying your home. You're sitting down to eat. Just being present over this life that God has given us. Just enjoying it, not rushing to get to the next thing, not rushing to accomplish something, but being able to enjoy the moment, even that time that you do have away from work. If you work your 9 to 5, if you're in corporate America or whatever, that you, on the weekend or Saturday, you're not working, if you don't have to, that you set that healthy boundary. And if you do have to work, you set, okay, out from 9 to 12, I'm gonna knock out what I need to knock out, and for the rest of the day I'm gonna be present with my child, I'm gonna be present with my family, I'm gonna do something that we will enjoy, that will create a memorable moment. And I found that there's such a rest and peace when you allow the grace of God and the favor of God to be bestowed upon you, where you can rest in Him. And rest is not so much like doing nothing and procrastination, laziness. It's again enjoying the things that He has given you to steward over. Taking a moment to just breathe and be thankful and grateful. And I also want to share Ecclesiastes 2 and 24. And Ecclesiastes 2 and 24 says, there is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw, that it was from the hand of God. And I begin to think about that um, because sometimes, you know what, we all have our days where we're not maybe looking forward to something. And I sometimes on the weekends, I'm already thinking about Monday. And like, and it begins to just like, it's almost like my mind is in Monday, but my body is in Saturday, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. But then I begin to think about that. I'm like, I am grateful for what God is doing in my life. I am grateful that I can get up and go to this job. I am grateful that I have the flexibility to go get my son when I need to. If maybe he's not feeling well, I can just go pick him up from school, or I can drop by and have lunch with him. I can get up and have my coffee, have a slow morning. And that's really shifting your mindset to a gratitude. This is where God has me. This is what I'm learning. Let me make the best of where I am. If this is where God has me right now, let me make the best of where I am. Let me show up in that love and compassion. Let me show up in a positive attitude with great work ethic. Let me engage with my team, my coworkers, because maybe it's something that I'm positioned to encourage them with. And I just began to think about that. And it's still a journey and it's still a process, because even as a single mom, sometimes I get a little bit exhausted and a little bit tired. Sometimes you're stretched too thin. You're doing so many different things, and you're trying to maintain and pour into yourself while showing up for others. But I realized that when you begin to shift your mind and you thank God that even where you are right now, it's a blessing. I am grateful that I have flexibility. I am grateful that I'm able to be present with my children. I am grateful that I can show up at my job. I can add value. And it's about shifting your mindset and knowing, okay, this is where God has me right now. And I'm going to be grateful because I know He's preparing me for something greater. And that really comes with ex- introspection and examining yourself, searching from within, and really coming to a place of gratitude and thankfulness for God keeping you and covering you, that He is your father and He knows what you need. I even think about my child. My child is not worried about food or worried about um, clothes to put on in the morning, because as a parent and the authority over him, he expects that, because I'm his mother. He expects to be fed. He expects to be clothed. He expects to get to school on time. He doesn't worry, oh my gosh, is mommy going to take me to school today? Will I have clothes to put on? He knows that because I'm his parent, He's provided for. And we need to cultivate that relationship with God, where we release that mistrust, maybe from people who have let you down or disappointed you, have not come through from you. And now you're looking at God like, will He do this for me? He created you. He knows what's best for you. He's your protector, He's your provider, and you have to know. And that takes that faith. The just shall live by faith. And it takes faith in knowing God is with me. He is providing for me. I am in His hands, and no one and nothing can pluck me out of His hands. He goes before me. He makes every crooked path straight. He is my strong tower, my security, my place of safety. I can run to Him. He covers me with His feathers. I abide in Him. So it's important that you have that relationship with God where you trust in Him in all of your ways. Even sit and ask, Lord, what haven't I surrendered to you that I said that I did? Write it out. Sit in your prayer time and ask God, what have I not surrendered to you that I said that I did, or I said that I have, but I have not? What am I still holding on to that I have prayed to you about, that I'm still worrying about? He will answer you. He's a God who answers. He will show you, He will reveal it to you. Because sometimes we are pushing in our own strength and we haven't yet surrendered. So I hope that this has encouraged you today. You can check out more on my website at womenwhocultivate.com.